Hello, guys. Today we're gonna talk about how to make someone fall in love with you. I found out that love it's not a fairy tale, it's not a magic. It's actually when your traumas matching. We actually can make someone love us, but it's depend on a lot of things. Firstly, it depends on the person that you like or you want to make you like more or make you love more. It's depend on if this person traumatized, had some traumas, or he's healthy or she's healthy. Because if she healed, if the person healed himself or herself, that would be, there was a lot of tricks that not gonna work on him or on her. And yeah, so it all depends on who this person is. Is he traumatized? Like, is he had some traumas? Because it's very easy to make someone fall in love with you if this person had some traumas, or if she traumatized. It's gonna be so easy. And it's hard for people that healthy, people that not traumatized, people that have standards, because they set boundaries, they have standards. That's gonna be a little bit hard. First thing that we need to find out what love really is for people that you want to make fall in love with you. So there is a different type of people, people that had some traumas, people that were raised not in good family, people that somehow they're maybe even if they were participate in some wars, A lot of therapists like to say that is this thing not kills you, which is mean that those things make you strong. But in the reality, we might see the picture that actually things and traumatized situationship never gonna make you strong, that make you more vulnerable, that make you more depressed, make you cannot understand a lot of things, you cannot build a relationship because of that, you cannot trust people. So little by little you see that those traumas actually they cannot give you opportunity to live like a person, to love someone, to be open, to have an open heart, to trust someone, how to make someone fall in love with you. So first of all, you find out that what love really is for this people, for this person that you want to make fell in love with you. So for example, love might be everything. For some people, love it's suffer. For some women, love it's when you make her cry, you make her upset, you treat her like a piece of shit, you don't give a shit about her, you don't call her, you ignoring her. So for some women, that's love. When you get jealous, when you get angry, just like that, some women think that this is a love. They are traumatized, really. For some people, love it's fun, for some people, love it's intimacy. That's why they're gonna fall in love with you, if just for one night, So this is another problem for a lot of women that addicted to intimacy, and men, a lot of men addicted to intimacy, and they fell in love so fast, after intimacy. So it's also a problem. You don't even know this person, but yeah. Another thing is love might be emotional support. So here's the thing. Actually, I feel like emotional support it's really a good thing between friends, but not between lovers, So it's also need to be exist between in relationships. It's also needed to be there, but at the same time, I feel like some people they really thinking that if someone supports you emotionally, it doesn't mean that they loved you. Okay. Recently, I was talking with my sister, and I asked her, what make you think that he is a good person, that your husband, he's really likes you, really like gonna take care of you, blah blah blah. And she's like, he always support me. And I mean, I'm like, what do you mean support you? Like, how? What way? And what kind of support, you know? And she's like, every time when I'm complaining about something, about my job or about something that I cannot get, or, the money that I cannot earn, things that I really want to buy. Sometimes, every time when I just complaining about those things, he always sent me motivational quotes, texts that, you would do this, I believe in you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I mean, you're really thinking that it's like emotional support? And she's like, yeah, because nobody ever tell that he believe in me, believe in my power, that I'm a smart girl and I could do everything myself. I'm like, I think you're just being trapped, because some men, they really like to say it instead of really suggest you help, suggest you money. Instead of this, they like to talk a lot. And some women are like, yeah, he just like me, you give me emotional support. I mean, damn, emotional support might be between friends, between sisters. I mean, I can do it as well, I can do it as well, and I'm gonna be free. But a lot of men, they pretend that they helping you, they support you, while they're not gonna do at all, So you might see, for some people, they need those words, hearing these words, That's gonna be okay if you're women and you support your man that way. You just support by your energy, support him by believing in him, by that you trust him, that's how can you see that some women, they have no standards. So another thing is, when for some women, love, it's fun. Love, when someone make her laugh, not cry. So if some men like to make a stupid jokes, or just like to do it, like to do jokes, and he did it really great, and she just laughed 24/7 with him, because he's so funny. She just fell in love with him. She just fell in love because she would just say, oh, he always make me laugh, because he always tells some stupid thing, tells some stupid jokes. Every time we have some problem, we got some problem, he always make me laugh. He's so positive thinker. So that's, you might see that how you can make those women fall in love very easy. You just need to do this, need to do what love for them, for some women. For women that mature, women that smart and healthy, for them, love, it's safe. It's a safety place, It's not only emotional support, but it's also financial support, because, money, it's everything. And for me, love is respect first. Then it's financial and emotional support. When you support your women, financially and emotionally after, give her attention, give her love, that you really see her, really listen to her, and at the same time you provide her. That's love for me. So this is another thing. For a lot of women, love is when you make her cry, and for a lot of men, love is when you treat him so bad. I mean, when you ignore a man, when you just treat him like a piece of shit, he would fall in love with you. And I see it very obvious, because 90% of all people in this world, they traumatized, and it's true, So see, very easy to make someone fall in love, but first you need to find out what love really is for those people, for this person, what love is, So if you find some men or women, you need to give attention what she talk about a lot, what she caring or he caring, what he complain about always, For men that, mature, they healthy, most of them, they're not gonna complaining about anything. For most of men that healthy, they're not traumatized. For them, love is how you make them feel. If you make them feel good about themselves, that's love for them, So if you was man, you listen him, the thing is, why are we choosing people that emotionally unavailable? That's another story. But sometimes I feel like we're trying to make someone fall in love, and because we're choosing someone that emotionally unavailable, And why we do that? I'm never gonna say you that they like you or they love you, and at the same time, they're never gonna say to you that they don't like you, and you can even see like what happening, because if a man is it's a grown man, he's not a kid or teenager, he's a grown man, and he understand, I think obviously you would understand his trauma, because most of people they understand that actually sometimes they act crazy, that's not normal behavior. They just trying to give you this responsibility to decide you really want to be in a relationship, this kind of relationship, because for these people, they know that they had a trauma, they know what they're doing, they know, but they cannot control it, That's what mean having a trauma, because if you have a trauma but you can control yourself, you have a power that you control your trauma, not your trauma controlling you. You know what I mean, So most of cases we're choosing emotional unavailable people, people that have avoidant attachment, because we're trying sabotage relationship. We're just sabotaging relationships, just because most of cases maybe because you don't really want to be in a relationship, because if you wanted to be, you would be already. I mean, if you wanted to, you would. So, which is mean a part of you sabotaging this by choosing people that emotionally unavailable, because you're also afraid of relationships, you're also afraid of to be emotionally attached to someone, you're also afraid to trust someone. That's why we're choosing those people. So that's why we put ourselves in this situationship where we're suffering at the same time. It's like it feels good, like you suffer but it feels good, like some kind of situationship, and yeah, but I think you lose more than you get, because if someone pay for you, if someone pays you for this, for suffer, for that, you actually just devastated after this type of relationship kind of situationships. If someone gonna pay you for that, okay, that's gonna be okay. If men pay you every time you see him, a lot of money, and then he disappear, blah blah blah. You don't know what's happening with him. It's okay. At least you have money. But if no one pays you, I don't see any sense to be with this type of men. Especially if see a lot of men that like to do this. They just come to your life once in a year. I mean, and they expect you to run after them, to immediately go on a date, see him, be with him. When they just disappear and then come, then text you again, then disappear, and every time you need to ask for money. Every time, because you lose more. You're gonna waste more money on your therapist. So there is a difference between women that have no standards. See, when you a person that fell in love so fast, which just mean that something wrong with you. Because if we're gonna talk about people that traumatized, they finding people that also traumatized, and that's why it's a really good match. That's why you guys fell in love so fast, because it's matching. Your trauma is matching. That's why it's so fast. It's not gonna be fast if you healthy. if you're gonna be healthy, it's not gonna be fast, you know. Another thing that actually I found very interesting is shadow. We have a light side of our personality and we have a dark side of our personality. Most of people that traumatized, they have a dark side of their personality, you know. So if we just talk about some serial killers, they have a dark side, and their dark side actually take the first position in their life, you know. Because there's a lot of people that have a need to kill someone. A lot of people. Most of them working in a government. Most of them go on a wars, you know. And yeah, they psychopaths actually, yeah. They're trying to work with their dark side, you know, of personality, of their personality. Because they know that actually they traumatized, you know. Because if you healthy, you would never have a need to kill someone, you know. You would never have a need you would never even kill animal, you know. Look, people that easily kills animals, they traumatized. Because if you healthy, you wouldn't have needs to hurt someone, you know. You have no need to hurt. Most men, they doesn't have any compassion. They doesn't feel any compassion, you know. They have absence of compassion, you know. So if they're gonna see that someone hurts another person, you know, someone hurts you, or you're just gonna complaining about someone, they would never react. That's their dark side, you know. They would never react if someone hurts you. They would never react if you gonna cry, you're gonna scream, ask for help, you know. You're gonna just, doesn't matter, you know, if you just gonna see how you're crying, there is nothing. I mean they're just mentally they broke, you know. Something broke inside them, and they feel no compassion. They would never help you. And you know how many people, they have no compassion, and that's a big red flag that something wrong with these people, something wrong with this person actually. And you need to be very, very careful if you wanted to really make him fall in love with you, you know. If this person doesn't feel anything to you, imagine if you have kids or someone. Imagine if something happened with you, he would never help you because he doesn't feel the same. You know, it's easy to make someone fall in love with you if this person doesn't have any standards. It's easy, you know. So if a woman doesn't have any standards, she's gonna just fall in love with you. But it's just like that because you're funny, because you give her some emotional support, because you create a comfort zone for her, you know, a safe zone for her maybe. So you're active listener. So sometimes I feel like some women doesn't have any standards. It's so easy to make her fall in love. You just need to act some way. You know, if she's traumatized a little bit or she have avoidant attachment, you need to mirroring her a little bit, you know, but not go crazy with that. So it's the same with men. Some men, they not gonna love you if you're gonna tell him good things, you know. I see how I'm gonna talk about the story that was in my life. I see how men, they not really react when you compliment them, when you just tell them good things, like, I don't know how to explain, but somehow I feel like only traumatized men, they're not gonna react, you know. They're gonna feel like that's a sarcasm, feel like you're kidding. I think I don't know why, you know, just because they don't trust you, you know. Just talk with man, and I said him, he just complaining about something, and I said, no, I think everything gonna be good because you're perfect. And he's like, what did you say? I'm like, I said, you're perfect. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, nothing, I just said that you're perfect. And he said, perfect for what? Like, just perfect for me? It's like, no, I don't understand. What do you mean I'm perfect? I'm perfect. I'm a bad person. I had no idea what's happening right now. Then I understand he actually is trying to sabotaging this, because he couldn't accept. I think he was so insecure. But some men, they like when women open her feelings, when you talk good with, when you treat good him, when you treat him really good, when you talk respectfully, when you when you just said some sweet things, when you treat him really good. But some men, they get triggered, like, what you mean, like, blah blah blah. They cannot accept this because they're traumatized. Some men gonna react only if you gonna treat him like a piece of shit, and some women gonna react the same. So it's all depend what love for these people. So guys, another thing that I really wanted to talk about is how to make someone fall in love, that if this person healthy, if he's healthy or she's healthy, she's gonna be open for any relationship. She's not gonna hide her intention, or he's not gonna hide his intentions. He would always be open, like, I like you, what do you need, I would happy to do this. So this kind of people, it's very easy to deal with those people. It's very, that gonna be so comfortable. It's gonna be your safe zone. It's gonna be something that not gonna make you upset or cry. It's someone that gonna make you feel so good, make you feel that you're in safe. You're in safety, and he always look out for you. That's how you gonna feel with these people. My friend, she was on a date, and on a first date, I just asked her how it was, and she's like, yeah, that was really really good. I'm so happy. He was so what she said, like, he was so sweet. I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, he just came with a gift. I'm like, I'm so happy for you. What's he gifted to you? She's like, yeah, he bring me a Kinder surprise, a chocolate egg. I'm like, I look at her. That's a sign that he's a really good person. She's like, yeah, she's like, yeah, he was thinking about me. That's why he bring me this chocolate egg. That was a sign. She was so surprised. She was like, oh my god, you can't believe he bring me a chocolate egg. And for me, that's kind of embarrassing, because I'm like, are you 10? Nowadays, even kids, they would just look at you with like this, like, are you serious? Are you serious? You bring a chocolate egg on a first date? Let's just talk clearly, guys. We all grown people, So next time when a man gonna ask you, oh, when you gonna dress, you're gonna dress this beautiful, sexy dress for me? Are you gonna put makeup, put this what kind of underwear you're wearing now? Just said him that you're 10. You're 10, and he have no right to ask you those questions, because that's illegal. Okay. I don't know how to react to those things. You grown woman and you grown man, you both know that you're not a kid. And when men treat you like a kid, I feel like you need to say him that that's illegal. Date a kid, dating kid, and sleep with that kid. That's just illegal to date kids. Okay, so it's so easy to make someone fall in love with you if you're women that doesn't have any standards. if you don't know what you really want, it's so easy to make you fall in love. People that people that doesn't have any traumas, for them love it's not suffer, and they wouldn't suffer even if it's end up, even if it's end, you know. So if you're healthy emotionally, mentally, you're healthy, you doesn't have any traumas, or you had some and you're healed, you know, you would never suffer if, even if your relationship end. Because the relationship with people, it's a kind of deal, that like a beneficial deal, you know. That's it. You both have fun, you both were, you know, was in a good relationship, you both share some experience with each other, both learn something. That's it. Because I never saw any relationship that gonna be so long, you know, like 20 years, 30 years. It's only happened when your trauma is matching, you know. You know, it's only happened between people that traumatized, you know, and your trauma is really matching. But because if you're mentally you're healthy, you always gonna try to find someone else. You know, you just need to try something new. You would need to try something new. You cannot just be with one person on a whole your life, you know, because you would never grow. You would never grow. How can you grow, you know, if you both growing and learning something? Okay, but otherwise I don't think it's gonna work. There's a thing, people that healthy, they would never fall in love on the first look, you know. They would never fall in love with you after first night. They need the time to see what kind of person you are. They need, you know, when you deal with healthy women, she have standards, she have boundaries. She would never fall in love just because you came on a first date with chocolate eggs, okay? She would never fall in love. It's just you text her or send her motivational quotes, okay? She would fall in love into your actions, not into your love. Because women, healthy, mature women, they only fall in love on your actions, you know. If you deal with a man that healthy, he is mature, he's a grown man, he would never fall in love with you just like that, just because you're beautiful, you know, just because you're pretty or sexy, okay? He needs a time either. He needs time to find out what kind of person you are, you know, how you react if you're not crazy, you know. Because some women, they might be beautiful, but at the same time they act like a bitch, you know. They might be so rude, you know. Sometimes I find this really, really funny that people and a lot of girls, they complaining that most of celebrities, they cheating on other celebrities, you know. How, you know, someone cheated to Angelina Jolie, someone cheated to, you know, some celebrity, and they're like, oh my god, those women so pretty, so beautiful, sexy and famous, they have a career, and even someone cheat on them. I mean, like, if men cheating on them, which is mean that's all men cheating, you know, they might be really beautiful, they might be really sexy, they might be really attractive, they might be I don't know, have a big career and be famous, good actress or model. That doesn't mean that they're good people, you know. Doesn't mean that those women really good in a relationship, you know. You never were in a relationship with those women. You don't know how they act. They don't know how they act with men, you know, how they make men feel with themselves, you know. You don't know, because you never talk with them. Even if you never talk with those women, I mean, of course you're not gonna know what's happened, you know, what's happened, because it's never happened just like that. Men that mature, they always gonna check girls. He's always gonna check what kind of standard do you have some standards, or you easy to get. You're gonna check your boundaries, you know. Some men gonna check you, and some men, they need women that wanting more, you know. Like, if you don't want anything, that's gonna be so boring for them, They need women that gonna wanting more. She need wanting more. If she doesn't want anything, she doesn't have a life. It feels like she's not doing anything at all. It feels like she's kind of dying. Literally dying like a zombie.